Chapter 2. Earth's next memory is one of grit and comeback. This is where humanity is rising as they remember their true inner power. Aleeyah and Isis. We move into a time of ancient Egypt where the connection to the star people, intuition, and the enlightened ones are true. Aleeyah was a young woman being trained to serve one of the royals. Aleeyah had nothing of her own. She slept on a woven straw mat on the stone floor and worked endlessly day in and day out at the beck and call of others. This was the life that Aleeyah knew, one of hardship and service. Her time was not her own. Aleeyah had no memory of her parents. She was bought as a slave from an orphanage when she was very little. It was one day when Aleeyah was cleaning one of the rooms at the Grand Temple that she felt something from a closed cupboard. Her body pulled her towards the cabinet. When she opened the cupboard doors, inside was a large, clear quartz crystal skull. The width of this skull was the size of 2 large hands spread out. Aleeyah was taken aback, and then the crystal spoke to Aleeyah in her mind. The crystal skull wanted Aleeyah to touch it. Instantly, everything started to slow down. Aleeyah felt like she was moving in slow motion. Her body was responding, wanting to reach out and touch the crystal, yet she could feel the hesitancy within her mind, not being quite sure. The pull that she felt earlier overrode her mind. As her hands got closer, she could feel an electrical pulse coming from the crystal. This energy was beginning to connect and move into her hands. When her hands made contact with the skull, in a brilliant flash of light, Aleeyah left her body and was surrounded by darkness, floating with no physical vessel. Peace unfolded all around her, with a sense of calm and well-being. Her heart tension eased into love beyond anything Aleeyah had ever experienced before. Aleeyah knew she was everything and anything all at once. She heard a booming voice say it was time to take on her mission, one of leadership and balance. The voice communicated because she connected with the crystal skull. Aleeyah now had unlimited access to knowledge and information to help her people out of slavery. Aleeyah was part of a predestined plan to awaken the society she was in and to make significant changes of awareness that would transcend throughout the centuries. In another flash of light, Aleeyah found herself lying on the floor with burn marks of symbols and markings on her hands. Others came running into the room of the temple, wondering what the flashes of light were, and found Aleeyah looking at her palms, a glowing light radiating all around her. Aleeyah's hair was electrified, wild and free. Even her posture was beginning to change as she rose from the floor. Her demeanor turned from defeat and disheartenment to one of strength and wisdom. One of the royals that also saw the flash of light came into the temple room and immediately knew Aleeyah had connected with the crystal skull. Many others had previously tried to connect with the crystal. However, the skull remained silent. The crystal skull knew when it was time to unleash the power of freedom and wisdom on its rightful owner. the royal sank to her knees and bowed down to Aleeyah as the others followed suit. Aleeyah was unsure where to go. What was her role? What was she to do now? At that moment, wisdom began to seep into her mind. She began to merge with the knowledge and energy of the skull. She looked at the royal and the others and told them to rise. Aleeyah needed time to figure out what was going on. She asked them to leave and give her space, as the energy from the crystal had begun to affect her physical body. Not only did Aleeyah's hands burn, but they also had significant blisters from where her hands touched the crystal. Her hands also had intricate markings etched into her skin that felt old and powerful. Aleeyah's body began to heat up and burn at a much higher frequency than even a few moments ago. Looking back, Aleeyah discovered she was in the adjustment phase, her body aligning to a new vibration and frequency from connecting with the crystal. The merging of these powerful energies was moving into her being. A remembrance was occurring. She knew she was one of the creators that made the crystal skull. This crystal was one out of 7 that would be placed in this world. The information in each crystal contained pertinent knowledge that would offer assistance to the time and years that they would be discovered. As information continued to seep into Aleeyah's energy fields, her body reminded her that she needed water and fast. Aleeyah was sweating and shaking profusely. She needed water to submerge her body in, to heal her burning hands and vessel. She also needed water to drink, to help flush the toxins that were coming out of her body at an alarming speed. Aleeyah knew where the women's bathing houses were, and when she stepped out of the temple room, she was taken aback. Word had spread quickly of this phenomenon that had happened to Aleeyah, the slave girl who connected with the crystal skull. Many souls had begun to line the hallways of the temple to get a glimpse of Aleeyah in this raw state of energy. They bowed down to Aleeyah in her presence and began to chant and sing ancient words of another time, another world. The tones and frequencies that were coming out of those that lined the halls were not familiar to anyone. These chanting voices of song moved through each person, acknowledging from the higher realms the igniting of Aleeyah's role that would now begin. All of the people that lined the hallways were being awakened in Aleeyah's presence to a knowledge of their true potential and connection with each other and all that is. Aleeyah staggered through the corridors, feeling the song and vibration move through her. She found her way blindly through the pain to the bathhouses and immediately submerged her hands in one of the pools of cooling water. The others knew instinctively to give her the privacy and solitude that she needed. As Aleeyah bent down on her knees with her hands in the water, she began to have memories flood her conscious mind of another time, another dimension, when she and other members from her prior council took it upon themselves to create these crystals. This divine knowledge was sacred and would help humanity when the time was right to then move into another dimension, another reality in time and space. Aleeyah instantly had access to information of an advanced view and way of being. As her body continued to process the rising frequency within her body, the cooling waters began to give relief to her hands. The blisters and burns were beginning to miraculously heal. At this point, Aleeyah almost felt well enough to submerge her entire body in the bathing waters. She found a jug of drinking water nearby, and as she drank the water, clarity flowed through her body. Aleeyah knew exactly what her body needed and was now able to communicate with her body. All of these advancements in this very short amount of time had Aleeyah feeling ungrounded. Her mind was having a hard time adjusting to the heights of knowledge and the depths of the activated gifts that were coming forward. Her soul was taking time out of her body for the adjustment to become a bit easier on Aleeyah's mind and energy. What seemed like hours passing by to Aleeyah was only a mere few minutes. When Aleeyah was finally able to submerge herself in the bathing pool, there was a calm feeling that began to sink into her being. Aleeyah's prior self from the Light Council began to soothe and nurture Aleeyah's Earth self, to the point that Aleeyah could now connect once again back into her body for the full transformation to be made complete. This transformation was leaving the old Aleeyah behind, stepping out of the cocoon and life that Aleeyah once knew, moving into the awakened version of Aleeyah. With this emergence came a new name that would honor the power, strength, and wisdom of the unity and connection of the opening of this veil. In her mind, Aleeyah heard the name Isis. Isis, the goddess of knowledge and truth. Once Aleeyah, now Isis, heard that name, that was the last step for her transformation to be made complete. Isis continued to lay in the bathing pool in silence and peace. Her soul had transformed. Now came the work that was ahead. Isis was here to help her people, to show them a way out of slavery, bringing their power back to themselves. She knew this would not be easy, yet the power of strength, wisdom, and knowledge was now inside of her. Isis knew nothing could stop her for centuries to come. Isis took a moment to look at her hands and examine the symbols. When she traced a finger over her palm, she could feel the energy increase and an activation occur. Golden light began to shine out of the symbols and markings, and she knew these symbols would help heal her people. Isis was shown in her mind's eye that she could place her hands on or above another human in need, and the symbols of the golden light would activate them, healing them completely, while transmuting any negative energies that needed to be released. There was so much that Isis knew instantly. She knew she would outlive many souls, as she was no longer human in the sense of limited capabilities and resources. Isis had made the leap into the new human. The new human has made the connection with the soul, the higher self, and integrated this awareness into one being physically. Aleeyah's life qualities and Isis's gifts had all merged and integrated into this one life. Isis was now living in between worlds, having access to ancient wisdom and knowledge from the higher realms, while connecting with the earthly elements. This deep connection with the earth and the stars led Isis to lead her people to wise decisions, to show others that yes, they too have the inner guidance, and there is much more beyond this world. Isis showed her people to honor the earth that you walk upon and honor the elements within this earthly realm. Throughout Isis's reign, she created a council and scribes to place her knowledge and teachings on the walls of the pyramids, temples, and other structures that currently exist in today's world. Within these teachings are the connection to the stars, knowledge of planetary shifts, and astrology insight. It is by no coincidence that the solstices, equinoxes, and moon phases are celebrated in the structures of Egypt and all around the globe. Isis brought this insight into her teachings that flowed throughout the world and into the centuries. Each human that connected and merged with their highest self became known for their teachings. Kuan Yin, Buddha, Isis, Yeshua, Mary Magdalene, and Mother Mary are to name but a few of these enlightened souls. Now on earth, the divine feminine is coming back into balance. The truth will come through how important and necessary both are needed, the divine feminine and the divine masculine. The two of these combined are the true essence of enlightenment. Enlightenment is awareness of one's true essence, the amalgamation of your soul's knowledge, experiences, learning, and growth. Many souls are moving into their final role on earth. You will feel this through your mission. A drive will flow through you at a monumental speed. This may not happen at the beginning of your awakening. However, at some point, for many souls, there will be a click, a light switch that turns on that illuminates your path. For those that feel this in their energy, their soul, patience is key. The shadow work on oneself needs to happen until your path becomes fully lit, and even then, the work will continue in each moment of learning and growth. Trust is also needed, for it is through trust that your divine guidance will come through and help you in your time of need and beyond. However, this can be one of the hardest challenges as an awakened soul, being patient and completely trusting the process. On Earth, the 3D masculine has taken over with the view that doing and being busy is the way to forge ahead. There are times that the sacred masculine will come in and you will have clarity and an abundance of drive to help you complete a task or goal. However, there must be a balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine. The divine feminine is intuition, nurturing, caring, and stillness all wrapped into one. With the allowance of trusting and being open to your guidance and intuition, as well as moving with the flow of your energy, these steps will bring you to your ultimate goal, your mission. When one listens to their intuition and taps into how they're feeling, trusting what they are sensing is right, not another person, not the media, not your friends, but you, your energy, your guidance. This is when you tap into the flow of the universe. At this level, you are tuned into everything. There is no more doubt in your mind. There are no more past emotions or past experiences of the reruns playing in your head. You have achieved mastery of your energy, your soul, and why you are here. Let us be clear. this is not achieved in only a few months or years. This can take many lifetimes. Do not look at this from the 3D perspective, one of conquering, rising to the top, and controlling others with the ego. This mastery is one of curiosity, fun, observation, and celebrating each milestone that you achieve, no matter how small or big you may think it is. When you enjoy each level that you go through, each experience of growth, there will be more ease in your life when you see through the lens of the bigger picture.